Onstage, onstage with Jim and Tom. 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 Tom and Jim.
Tonight we welcome the adventurous and artful Snake Walk to the stage at the Phoenix Theater. This band was founded in 2012, and my goodness, they're just like really fun to watch and listen to.
Yeah.
They are so fun, in fact, that when they played the Phoenix Theater back in August 2015, Tom Gaffey called me during their set and said, we need to get them on stage with Jim and Tom.
Yeah.
So tonight,
Absolutely.
they are here. Please welcome to the program, Jay, Stephenie, Lukas, the trio known as Snake Walk.
Snake Walk.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
First off, there's a lot of wordplay in your songs. They're wordy tunes, and they're wonderful to listen to, and the wordsmithing is absolutely glorious. And so you're thinking, when this is being performed, this isn't an easy task. You guys are singing these wonderful harmonies, and they're tight, and I'm expecting to see these guys up there sweating and working, and it's just a very casual, comfortable experience watching you put all this together and make it happen. That's because not only are you guys great players, but you're extremely good listeners.
Now, when you're writing the lyrics, which are very thoughtful and are not of a low grade level vocabulary, do you struggle with coming off ostentatious? Because you don't at all, but it's a tough balance to use big words and to show your intellectual strength while still coming across as easy listening. Is that something that you have to wrestle with?
I let Lukas but use the big words.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, that's the fun of it.
I think the counterbalance is the honesty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't come off as pretentious when you're really bearing your soul, you know?
You have a song called, which you play this evening, I believe. Is that correct? For
Yes.
Lulu, a Shiv to the gut.
Yes.
Later we'll film us playing that.
I think we can drop the charade. She said authenticity is important. Let's be authentic. We filmed the performance before,
right.
and then
Make
we
me laugh.
edited afterwards.
Cool.
Okay. Is there a Lulu?
No. Well, yeah.
Follow-up
Yeah.
question. Is there a Lulu, and why does she deserve a Shiv to the gut?
There is a Lulu. I don't think she deserves a Shiv to the gut.
Okay, because the song is called For Lulu, a Shiv to the gut,
Yeah.
which would imply
a shiv
a Shiv to the gut for
Right,
Lulu.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but then the last verse of the song is for Lulu, a Shiv to the gut would mean much. A month on the crutch, and a week or two asking no one to lunch, falls asleep in food, gets in weepy moods alone in her room on YouTube.
She'd love to have the time off.
Maybe. She had plenty of time off.
Tell us about Lulu, whatever you want to share.
Can I ask a question before we go there? Bertolt Brecht, Kurt Weill? Does that
Love
mean anything?
Bertolt Brecht.
Threepenny Opera, Mac the Knife. Have you listened to that version, Bertolt Brecht's version? They wrote it, Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht.
Yeah.
And it is it's actually, when Bobby Darin did it, it was a very joyous tune about a serial killer. But quite frankly, when you hear Bertolt's wife sing it in the Threepenny Opera, you realize it's not all that joyous, yet it is. And it's a joyous look at accidental and yet quite intentional violence. And so every time I hear Lulu, I'm thinking, this is a joyous story of violence almost. I love the tune, and it's so catchy. And I just keep thinking Bertolt Brecht all the way through.
That's so rad. I have the Threepenny Opera soundtrack. I stole it from my grandma's record collection, but it's in German.
Yes.
So I don't know what the actual story of any of the songs is.
And yet the universality of music made it so that content
It was transferred into me.
was, by osmosis, transferred into your brain.
But do you speak German?
No.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You
He doesn't
wrote in
speak
German. Did you not write in German?
Oh, there's a line in German. I tried to look. I had a time when I was trying to learn a new German word every day. I just think it sounds really beautiful.
Sounds great.
The spoken language of German.
And you threw some French in there, too.
That's right, yeah. So I used basically some 5 French words that I knew that rhymed, and then one, I learned how to say, sie ist ein sehr neugieriges Mädchen. She is a very curious girl. And that was a phrase that I learned in that month that I was learning German. And then I changed that to optimistisch Mädchen for the song.
Cool. Yeah.
Can you tell us something about Lulu? Just something, or tell us the story. Maybe tell the listener what the story is about.
Know?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would.
I'm Lulu.
There it is.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so what happens to Lulu in the song? I love it because if someone were to look at the lyrics, it's like 2 pages, and there's a lot in there. Like that song is telling a story. Maybe a summary for the audience who isn't going to open the lyrics page.
Okay, so Lulu sits alone in a cafe in the table at the far back corner, and she writes in her notebook with her 2 pens, one's red and one's black. And she fell for this guy who had really unkempt hair and a really nice laugh, but he wasn't very good at being emotionally
Present?
present and more like open and connected with someone.
The guy can't comb his hair. He can't look in the mirror.
That's right, and he can't have a healthy relationship. So,
Do we think, now let's just pause because I sort of identify with that guy. Do we think that there's something wrong with him? Or do we think that he should just be his true realized self? Should he try to change?
No,
Okay.
They should both be themselves, and they should not be in a relationship anymore.
I agree.
And therefore, the ending is actually happy.
There we go. Yeah.
Because they're not.
See, I found a character to connect with in that story, which I love.
The serial killer guy.
I am cold and merciless, and not afraid to do what I need to do.
Except comb his hair. Actually, his hair is usually quite combed.
Except it's raining outside today, so unfortunately, I'm a little,
Murderous.
Thank you.
Never trust Jim on a rainy day.
Don't. Okay. Hey, so you guys were in the Press Democrat. Where was this article? It was like, hey, there's a bunch of bands to pay attention to, and you were one of them. There was a quote in that article that I took great issue with. I thought it was like the understatement of the century. Are you ready? Or at least the understatement of the article. And that is, a hint of drama pervades their work. I don't think this band exists without drama and theatrics. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. Oh,
Could-
yeah.
Right?
Tell us about like how drama and theatrics are like in the DNA of this band, because I know your performances have a hint of theatricality to them. Why are those elements important to this project?
It's just an additional form of expression, really.
Would the band exist without that form of expression?
Not in the same
No,
state.
it wouldn't be Snake
Yeah,
Walk.
It wouldn't be
Right.
Snake Walk.
I mean, we could have plenty of different variations. You two have played music together for longer than I've played music at all. And I originally, my art form was theater. So a lot of that it spills over into it. And I think, we all love theater.
Right.
And
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
You do. Now, there's a group called the Imaginists in
Yes.
Sebastopol.
Thank you for bringing them
We need to go deep into them because I think that their DNA is mixed deep with your DNA.
For sure.
And I think it's almost, you can't even separate these two. But they posted something online last year, which I think really supports what we said earlier about your guys' lyrics. And they asked their listeners and their readers and their viewers to support artists who insist their art form does not conform. And that's what I think about when I see your guys' lyrics. This is poppy, but it's also complex lyrically. So let's say you walk into a room and you're talking to somebody and they have no idea what the Imaginist is, which some listeners may be that person.
Mhm.
Sure.
Let's tell them about Imaginists.
The Imaginists are an experimental theater company in downtown Santa Rosa in the South A Arts District. And they create new work with a focus on an ensemble style of creating. So everyone has a part in the formation of all the elements of the script, of the story, of the set building. There's lots of improvisation whatever the cast ends up being for a particular show, they all have to invent everything and then rehearse it and then perform it. But it's fantastically interesting work, super exciting, really alive theater that's responding to the political situation worldwide and then here in town as well. Lots of bilingual work, free performances in the parks for families.
We were all in a show together, all of
That was
Snake Walk.
just so good, so fun.
They
Was
roped me
in, yeah.
Yes, and the whole band was there.
The eternal return of the cosmic star child from the songbook of the invisible sky.
Beautiful.
It's an interstellar operetta.
There we go.
You guys did the music for that, if I'm not mistaken.
With musical direction by Charlie Davenport.
Charlie Rags Davenport,
Charlie
a friend of the
Rags.
program. We love Charlie Rags.
Charlie Rags Dav.
Charlie Ragsdab,
Yeah.
as I like to call him. Well, this is interesting. So you did the score for this project?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Performed live when the performances took place?
Yes.
Let's see how deep we can go here. This piece, this is from a review of it, dialed deep into current day issues of xenophobia, spirituality, and refugees. This is very topical, given what's going on in the world in the last year. When you are observing that as the people that you are, does it bum you out on a personal level?
To a point. I think you mean the subject matter.
The subject matter. Which
Yeah. Yeah.
Because some people
It
are
does.
able to. Some people are able to just disconnect and say, "I'm doing my thing," but other people they take it heavily. I'm curious how you guys.
Personally, that one for me, it was just so much fun to work with Charlie and the whole band there with the Imaginists that it almost didn't get to me.
Yeah.
But sitting down and watching the news or something after doing that show, that's when it
Starts
like,
to relate.
Oh wow, this is this is all happening. This is real.
Do we think art like this can make a change, or do we think it's just a way for us to try to process the awfulness that we witness in the world and just try to come to terms with it in whatever way we can?
Can it change one's soul? Absolutely. I
Yeah.
would think it
I mean,
can.
yeah, hopefully both.
I'd say both, yeah, depending on where you are as an audience member when you walk into one of those shows. And we recommend going to those shows twice because they run for usually 3 weeks, and it'll change. The show itself changes over those 3 weeks and grows and all that.
And I think that it's even enough to just make people aware is another thing. Or to just stop and question something that maybe was taken for granted. Like something about this particular play as well, The Eternal Return, is that it was somewhat based on the nativity story. And you have a homeless woman who is a refugee who's looking for a home, and everyone is turning her away. And so you look at the actions that people are taking and compare that with a story that many people are taught, from childhood.
And that hold very dear many people
Right,
too.
and so there's a contrast there
Yeah.
between what people might say they believe or think that they believe and then their actual actions, and just making them aware of that disconnect, or just making them question for a moment.
Yeah,
is
would they let
huge.
that Palestinian family into their home if the woman was pregnant and needed a place to?
So the intent of my question was kind of like, what drives you to get in this? Is it to change the hearts and minds, or is it just a way to just sort of like come to terms? And I know you answered the question, but because I don't know, I'm a little less hopeless in this current era. It seems to me, and this whatever, it's just my opinion. It seems like it's going to have to get a lot darker before it gets lighter. I don't have faith in people who are participating in the current era of xenophobia and bigotry. I don't have faith in the ability of those people to change, because I think that there is a closed-mindedness that's going on that until things get so crazy and until they are so proven wrong, which I think will happen over time, because I think that line of thinking, I think, is it's not the way that humanity should go.
It's only harmful.
It's only harmful, and I think it ultimately ends badly.
But
And
check this out, though. Donald Rumsfeld, hate the motherfucker.
Now we're getting somewhere.
there we go.
Thank you. Go ahead.
we can
but
say
that's
motherfucker
true.
then.
No, I
you
like it.
absolutely
I like
can.
it. I like
Are
it.
you kidding? This son of a bitch and Karl
We
Rove
can say that.
and all of these guys.
Boy, it's getting political here. All
Well,
right.
and the point is, this will probably never make it either. But
think it might.
They sent us to the Middle East, and if you talk to Donald Rumsfeld, here's a man that loves his family, loves his wife, loves his children, loves his grandchildren, and why he did it was because he thought it was the right thing to do.
That's the tough thing. And
Kurt LeMay carpet bombed Germany and Japan during World War II, and how many innocent people were murdered in that solution, yet he didn't do it with a mean heart. He did it with what he thought was the right heart.
And that brings us back to going to Imaginists show, and you just for a second think, oh, other people's feelings, other people's lives and families. Just think about them. Just acknowledge that maybe
And
your
because-
actions and words have victims. And
Right.
And because we're playing synthesizers and we're singing these messages to you, maybe it'll get through a little bit more.
yeah.
we hope so. I mean, to me, it's the intersection of two problematic ways of thinking. This sort of intransigence and problematic, I would say, way of being. It's number one, thinking that what is ultimately destructive is actually helpful. That's number one, and then number two, not making a change of mind or action until things are so far gone. And this happens both on the global political scale and in people's personal lives. And so the intersection of those two patterns of human behavior are what has me hopeless about things getting better in the near term.
That's fair.
I do think that things will improve. I think that it's going to take some absolute disasters. I think there's going to have to be a lot of really, really bad stuff to happen before people take a look in the mirror.
They're
And
actually happening.
Yeah, I
already.
think they're working on it.
No, but it's
Yeah.
but it gets worse. I mean, no, I mean,
I'm right there with you. I'm
in-
expecting something apocalyptic.
Any of us who've known anybody with any amount of personal problems that they've been unable to solve knows from a mile away, if you're observing this person, oh my goodness, this is not a good pattern of behavior. Oh my goodness.
Right.
And then a lot of the time, it's not until it's way too late, or at least a lot of damage has been done before a pivot is made, and that applies in one's life, and it also applies broadly throughout the way the world is run. And that is why I do think it will get better in the world and in this country, because my God, I mean, you look at how things are compared to how they were 100 years ago, compared to how they were 50. I mean, we have made incredible progress. The human race has made incredible progress in terms of tolerance and in terms of bringing people up. But boy, do we still have a lot of work to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's a lot of plays you guys got to write. Is the message?
Well, that's the thing too. Being persistent and
not giving up.
not giving up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I tend to be I'm on the misanthropic side of the snake walk spectrum.
Are you a curmudgeon as well?
Oh, absolutely.
You're a curmudgeonly misanthrope?
Yeah,
Or
I'm
you-
terrible.
I feel like you've gotten
I'm-
better, though. I feel like you've gotten more positive
It's the harmonies.
over the last few years. Yeah, is it the singing?
I'm positive because I don't let myself go as deeply into it.
Yeah.
It seems like now if you're going to introduce yourself to a stranger or to somebody you're going to work with or whatever, you almost like shouldn't tell them what your political leanings are because they will paint you with a certain brush if they disagree with you. Do you identify with that as people who are on the younger spectrum? I mean, have you encountered this, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if people find out that you're a typical college-age liberal and they're not, they will write you off a lot of the time.
Because of where I live and because of my, I'm not afraid to be vocal about things, especially on social media or whatever. Like I'm not going to let anyone tell me what I can't post on there. But I do have family and friends and just people who, because I live here and because I am in an artsy band and because, I'm a young woman, I really have to, people just make a lot of assumptions about my political beliefs or my religious beliefs or just any of that. And
that's annoying. That's annoying to you.
I've just gotten to the point I don't correct them anymore. It doesn't matter to me what they
Don't fucking
think.
care anymore.
I
yeah.
just don't care. I just don't care. I don't give that kind of don't give it attention anymore.
No, you don't. But it doesn't take away from the fact that there is this sort of atmosphere of friendly disagreements on stuff like this. Don't seem to be as common as they used to be.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Everything is so aggressive and everything is so combative.
Well,
like,
people take it so personally too. It's like they are defending themselves and their gender or whatever it is, and
right.
you just don't have to identify with any one thing like that. These binary systems that we've made, you don't have to identify with one or the other.
Yeah, I just wish everybody would just fucking chill out.
You know, half the time I'm just glad that someone's talking about it. Like, I think that conversation about any topic is ultimately a good thing to be happening.
I guess what I'm saying is there's this what is it? The inclination to just write someone off completely if you find out that they have a different belief than you on a given subject. Does any of this so everything's fucked, in summary. If you're just tuning in right now, everything's fucked.
Everything's fucked.
Many things.
Does that drive your art? Do you feel like the craziness of the world, does that in any way drive you to create what you create? Because your music is, and because of theatricality and all that, and the lyrical content, it's a step more than just a group of people who just want to be in a band. Mm-hmm. There's another level of commitment here, and
Sure.
I'm curious what drives that.
I can say something to that point, which is like we recently have been choosing our gigs very carefully, and that's one of the ways that we, everything's fucked, and we don't want to be feeding that.
Fuckery.
And the fuckery, yeah. And so we choose our gigs. We look up what the bands are, and if the bands are playing songs that are sexist, then we're not going to play with them. I mean, yeah, it's just feeding that audience, which we don't want to do.
We try to be intentional about it.
Have you ever thought about jumping in the belly of the beast, though?
You mean getting in there with
That
the,
is
with the shitty bands?
To me, I think about that, but I'm afraid of jumping into the middle, into the belly of the beast, and then being prepared enough to sort of push back against it all and say, hey, look, shine up a harsh mirror to what everyone here is doing. I don't know how much good that could actually do unless it was very carefully planned.
You do it subtly. You do it
Right.
more subtly, I think. You just go out there and put yourselves out there, and maybe that one person go, wait a minute. You'd want to be mindful about it.
We want to be mindful. We want to be intentional about what we do, because we do think of this as our work. Like, it's a compulsion to be creating this music. It's not just wanting to be in a band and then being in a band.
Did you have an experience where you were on a show and there was something done on stage by a person in a band that made you uncomfortable?
I'm on a general level, but there hasn't been any incident that
You had a much more pronounced nod.
Well, I just think that lots of bands. So there are lots of bands that are made up of mostly white men, right? Like white straight men. That's most people who you see in a band playing a show. Even if that's not the demographic who usually wants to play music more than anybody else. They're the ones who you end up seeing on stage, right?
On the local level, that's more correct, I would think.
Yeah.
On an international level,
and on the
though.
national
I'd say
level.
Not
if
necessarily.
you scroll through the
Absolutely.
iTunes store and see
really?
it's going to be mostly men, it's going to be mostly white men who in their lyrics are usually singing about the woman that they love or whatever.
That's true.
And so there's a lot of
think
sexist.
about how many.
I was just
Can you think of any top 10 hit ever that has been a man pronouncing his love to another man?
Well, let's see. I would think Freddie Mercury probably had something in there. I think
okay. Yeah,
David
he
Bowie.
was hiding it, though, at the
He was.
time.
He was.
Yeah, it wasn't
they were
explicit.
hiding. You're right. You're absolutely
Yeah.
correct. I mean, even
was Daniel
although
a top 10 hit?
Who? What?
Daniel, my brother,
Daniel-
you
oh
were
my
older
gosh.
than me.
Yeah.
But
Do
that
you
was
still
Bernie
feel the pain?
Taupin that wrote that, who was actually straight. It was Elton John that was singing it, I think. That's an interesting question.
You're right.
But you know what though? Elton John, even his songs are not gender specific.
Are they or aren't
I
they?
don't think they are.
I don't think so
I think
either.
that they're
That's
produced
true.
in a way, and I don't blame him.
No.
By the way, I don't blame him at
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
especially given when he came. I still don't think that it's commercially wise, unfortunately, for a gay frontman of a band to sing about how much he loves his boyfriend or husband.
Right, which is
and that's unfortunate.
Kind of
but
why we're playing music too.
Climate is not safe.
No, not only is it not safe, but you will be punished commercially.
So here's the thing. When I was a kid listening to even Rod Stewart, there was the implication Maggie May was a guy. And it turns out it's not true. But this was allowed to be a rumor that that they used for marketing in those days. Traffic, Low Spark of High Heel Boys. Phenomenal album, by the way. If you haven't heard it, absolutely spectacular. It at least addressed cross-dressing. It led us to believe that it was also addressing gay relationships. And I don't think that was the case now, but they sure let us see that and think that. Again, David Bowie coming out in his early days and not coming out.
Yeah, that's so tough for me.
Yeah.
Because he can't. If you read it, you can just look it up on his Wikipedia if you want. But to the listener out there, I'll give you a summary so you don't have to. In the early '70s, and you were there, so you could probably chime in.
I read it.
He came out, and wow, what a thing that was.
Yes.
And then 10 years later, he said, "Actually, I'm not," and what a mistake it was to say that I was.
Oh, did he say that?
I missed that part.
In a 1983 interview with Rolling Stone, Bowie said his public declaration of bisexuality was the biggest mistake I ever made, and I was always a closet heterosexual. And, you know, it's his personal business, and boy, is it tough to be under the spotlight, because I really do believe that your sexuality and your gender is nobody's business. And when you've got if you don't want it to be, and if you've got the spotlight on you and everyone's looking at you, boy, is that tough. Because when you're a celebrity or public figure, you essentially kind of, there's this implied contract that you belong to everyone.
Right.
And so what a tough thing. Gay rights, by the way, are one reason to have some faith in how quick social movement can be. It's amazing when you think about the progress that we made. But Blender, that's a magazine, asked Bowie in 2002 whether he still believed his public declaration was his biggest mistake. After a long pause, he said, "It was a lot tougher here in America than it was in Europe. I have no problem people knowing I was bisexual, but I had no inclination to hold any banners or be a representative of any group of people." And then he described America as puritanical. And he thinks it stood in the way of so much that he wanted to do.
The point is that we don't know what the solution is to most of this stuff, but we do know you guys are going to have to write an awful lot of music behind this.
Yep, we've got our work cut out for us.
You really do.
That was a good button.
That's kind of, okay, that, I did want to say that. So that kind of thing, like, we are a band who performs very intentionally and selects our gigs very intentionally, and even decide our set list very intentionally. Like, you know, we're very, it's an intricate thing for us, and we don't want to come out as the champion for some cause without acknowledging our own privilege. Like, we're still a bunch of white kids who live in Northern California. Like, we don't want to be spokespeople.
Our studio is in my dad's house.
Yeah,
like, we could not afford studio space.
The car that we usually haul our gear into gigs, my grandmother basically bought for me.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
So, hey, by the way, we talked about some very polarizing issues, and I think we did so in not the most obnoxious way in the world. So congratulations, I think, go to us.
Round of applause.
It's just really, there was a lot of third rails, a lot of dangerous stuff. We did okay. Tom Gaffey, do you have any conclusive thoughts for us here tonight?
I love this band. I saw them the one time and wanted to sit at this table with you guys and talk with you. I love the stuff you write. I love your instrumentation. And I can fall asleep to it. I can dream with it. I can move with it. And that really grabs me. You add your vocals, and they're slick and they're smart, and they're not at all sad.
Let's give these guys a listen. Let's clone them 3 billion times. Let's become the majority, and
there you go.
The snake walk majority.
Yeah.
Harmonies. My God,
Oh, man.
this is great stuff.
3 billion part harmony.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a good track.
Thank you guys again for joining us. And everybody else, stay tuned, because Snake Walk is going to play you a set of music. So here we go, Snake Walk.
Here we go.
A winding, twisting journey, so they're doing rather well, travelling the old A roads. We'll be joining the old road for a very long established indeed, and of course there's natural features as to So the boundaries are just the same as they were in those times. But at the same time, those traditions have changed in other ways. Things change very dramatically, of course, but very often is the case. So where we're going later on, this leads to us a long meandering journey, a winding, twisting journey. You'll see deer, sheep, horses, and another couple perhaps. A long meandering journey. One or two thatches as well, a hornarium, a tepidarium, a frigidarium, a winding, twisting journey, Turkish baths, trailers with white twists, and all around we follow another river. So they're doing rather well. A winding, twisting journey, a long meandering journey, 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 a w
this ellipsis is gravity bound. What's up with my head and gut flying around? If a misfit eclipse in a canopy can't grit the stick together, make a mechanical sounds, then I'll be faking or breaking or shaking down all the inmates for English crowns. And the rain I'll be raking in soaks into the ground, and the growth of mechanical sound, and the growth of mechanical sound, and the growth of mechanical sound, and the mechanical sound, and the growth of mechanical sound, the mechanical sound, and the growth. Put me on the telegram track, I'm a generator, maker of mechanical crap. As a never-rooter, I can never cover the gas. I'm a number in the register accruing cash to cover post-poetic arrangements in a capital infatuate engagement. Hold a scalpel to the ash to inflame it, make an ink pot white hot cauterize my... If you never go all in, never bother falling in love. Plenty rays wanna play with plenty pterodactyls above. If you never go all in, never bother falling in love. Try and check the deck before our death can take the breath from my lungs. How can I choose between a lady who's a lady and a lady who likes me? How can I choose between a lady who's a lady and a lady who likes me? How can I choose between a lady who's a lady and a lady who likes me? How can I choose between a lady who's a lady and a lady who likes me?
Stretch your experience with the world of decadence. Stretch your experience with the world of decadence. Stretch your experience with the world of decadence. Stretch your experience with the world of decadence.
She's new age in a bad way with a clean face and a Dada face. He'd say the guitar's gay in a bad way, but that's a dead, dead phrase.
Dead phrase.
But I'm dead anyway.
Dead phrase.
And if you didn't interject with a forked tongue, maybe I could get some work done. If I didn't interrupt a brother hun, I'd get it up for another one. A dead, dead phrase. But I'm dead anyway.
Dead phrase.
Of pterodactyls and man rays. If you never go all in, never bother falling in love. Plenty rays wanna play with plenty pterodactyls above. If you never go all in, never bother falling in love. Try and check the deck before our death can take the breath from my lungs. I got a body that wants to burn. I got a body that wants a body. I got a body that wants to burn. I got a body that wants a body. I got a body that wants to burn. I got a body that wants a body. I got a body that wants to burn. Let's burn. I gotta check the deck before our death can take the breath from my lungs. Check the deck before our death can take the breath from my lungs. Check the deck before our death can take the breath from my lungs. Check the deck before our death can take the breath from my lungs. don't squirm or roast or get hotter. Just grip the wheel firmly and coast through the water. Don't trip, don't squirm or roast or get hotter. Just grip the wheel firmly and coast through the water. Don't trip, don't squirm or roast or get hotter. Just grip the wheel firmly and coast through the water. Don't trip, don't squirm or roast or get hotter. Just grip the wheel firmly and coast.
Alone sits a lady like me in a bungalow coffee house bakery. Aglow with eccentricity and a nose that gives up her ethnicity. Lulu, as her name would be, reaches a thin hand into her bag, produces a pad and 2 pens, red and black, in the farthest booth on the left in the back. This is where she gets her work done in a cubicle. This is where she'd burst into song in a musical.
Where she gets her work done in a cubicle. This is where she burst into song
In a musical.
This is where she bursts.
Corduroy pants are her business slacks. A comfy jumper, that's the way she likes it best. But looks better in a dress than in a sweater vest. Argyle pattern stretched across her chest. And check it, double damn D's as a matter of fact, no doubt. The female me would be stacked. Okay, on the real though, she's real lanky and flat and tall in high tops and a small knit cap. She fell for a chap with unmapped hair and a beautiful laugh. It's his curse, yes, he struggled his life. Had to put up a sheet of ice, and when it got worse, had to take girls' lives. He's the kind of killer who prepares a home-cooked meal so he doesn't have to hide the knives. He zhuzhes your wine with a couteau to your spine or to your throat as he chops the chives. Well, zut alors, he's a cordon bleu saboteur, and in the slums with the bums eating weed with ennui. Look at there, sacre bleu from the top of your tower. A spyglass to your eye as high-class spies might wear. But what the hell, are you unaware of the Mademoiselle mon frère? Sie ist ein sehr, sehr optimistisch Mädchen, mein Herr. She gets her romance from France, but no discretion from the Axis. Asking serious questions and impressions of accents. Differing her dialect, never sits on one end like the Quillowill. Her syllables fall dripping from the tongue, except names she don't get. She forgets most you totter. Teeters between the stay clean and the slaughter. Folks give a toast to her talking point fodder. She grips the wheel firmly and coasts through the water. Don't trip, don't squirm or roast or get hotter. Just grip the wheel firmly and coast through the water. Don't trip, don't squirm or roast or get hotter. Just grip the wheel firmly and coast. I won't say I'll never get hurt again, but I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna flirt again. As long as I last on the land with a rash on my hand and my lady abandoning me in a rocket, I'll stand by my band with a hand on my grand gland, a black and red pen in my pocket. My locket is locked full of pics of her, and my socketed twist for a fix of her. And in spite of the dames I stick flags in, I cry at the sight of that damn station wagon Christ.
Away with lace, cover with shades, my face okay.
I wipe it away with lace, cover with shades, my face okay. Dry and loafed, I will repair. Take a choke and pull up a chair. I'll give you notes on stroking your dote's hair, emote through the smoke and take it from there. But if in ya audit like rock with the dead stare, you're gonna hurt her a lot when you get scared, 'cause you're easily
'cause your easel is bare. You're a polka dot smock with a tear. See, for Lulu, a shiv to the gut could mean much. A month on the crutch and a week or two asking no one to lunch, falls asleep in food, gets in weepy moods, alone in her room on her phone on YouTube. Damn, dude. I'd pretty much have to say that you pretty much put her in a pretty damn bad way, dude. Man. Woo. Man, woo. Dude. Man. Woo. Man, woo. Dude. Get a grip, don't trip, don't squirm or roast or get hotter. Just grip the wheel firmly and coast through the water. Don't trip, don't squirm or roast or get hotter. Just grip the wheel firmly and coast through the water.
Don't trip, don't
Squirm,
squirm,
roast,
or get
hotter. Just grip the wheel firmly and coast
through the water. Don't
trip,
don't
squirm,
or roast,
roast,
or get
hotter.
Just
Grip the wheel firmly and coast.